Welcome, everybody, to Strangest Species, Season 2, Episode 19. I am your host, Mike Davis. Not here tonight with your co-host, Ethney Davis, which is interesting because I need a co-host. So, if you're wondering how that is going to work, I brought in the relief pitcher, my daughter, Vienna Davis. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Awesome. So, Ethney decided to go to Hawaii without us. She took one of our boys, and they are there. They actually have a red-eye home tonight, but she will not be here in time to record. And I didn't realize this. So, I'm bringing in the relief pitcher, like I said. There's a baseball reference if you're not a baseball fan. It's the playoffs right now in the baseball world. So, Vienna, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. How's your day going today?
It's good. It's been a good day at school this morning. Well, all day pretty much.
Well, that is fabulous. I wanted to get the house clean before Ethney gets home. So I decided that we will not have dinner here at the house. So we went to IHOP. Because IHOP is a restaurant that all of our children love, but that Ethney most definitely does not enjoy.
Yeah, no, she says it's nasty.
But that was really good.
Yeah.
We have a really cute little IHOP too. It's like really, really small, and it looks like a ski chalet.
Yeah, it does.
And so we went. I thought for sure the kids would get some kind of Halloween, not Vienna, but her little brothers I thought would get like some kind of Halloween super gross candy induced laden pancake, but they didn't. They actually got real food, so good for them. And what did you get?
I got an avocado bacon ranch burger.
It looked pretty delicious.
It was huge. It was really good though.
And I got they claimed it was a spicy poblano omelet, but there was no spice, but it was really yummy. So not Ethney, see? Vienna, you've listened to the podcast before, correct?
Yes, I have.
You know the premise of how this works, right?
Yep, Mom doesn't know what you're telling her.
That's
and
right.
You tell her the stories.
So do you know what we're going to talk about tonight?
I do not.
No, because you're filling in for your mom.
I am.
So you don't get to know, but you do have to guess.
Okay.
No, Mom's never gotten it right. When she'll never get it right because it's so random. But let's hear your guess. What do you think we're going to talk about tonight?
Extinct animals.
Extinct animals. Very, very, very not correct. But it's a good guess. It's a good guess. So, before I tell you what we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about it, kind of. And then I'm going to ask you to put yourself into the person that we're going to talk about position, as if you were them, okay?
Okay.
So, we live close to two very large abandoned factories. Agree or disagree, Vienna Davis?
I agree.
Yeah. So what are these factories like?
Big, really creepy looking. They've all got like your basic broken windows and boarded up doors that say don't enter, danger, you know, your basic type, like haunted house type factory.
But they're huge.
Like huge.
Huge. So, and they're both really, really close to us. I believe they're former aluminum factories where they would make aluminum or roll out big sheets of aluminum.
Yeah.
But we're talking massive, like the size of maybe 2 or 3 high schools. I mean, big.
Yeah, they're big.
Maybe not that big. Maybe 1.5 high schools. I don't know, but they're big. So I've always been very interested in urban exploration. Like one of my favorite YouTube rabbit holes is to go watch other people explore abandoned buildings.
Okay.
Now, I personally don't really explore abandoned buildings because more than anything, I just haven't had much of the opportunity. I am not one who likes to get in trouble. So if it's like an abandoned building, like remember that one time we went hiking along those old train tracks and we found that old abandoned house?
Yeah.
Like that was super cool. But if there's like fences and stuff, I'm not jumping over them to go
Yeah, no.
to go exploring. So these ones are definitely, fenced with razor wire.
Yeah, they're like meant to keep you out.
Right. And I jog by one of them all the time, and I really would like to go in it. It's like a full city. It's crazy. But you can get right next to some of the buildings, like on the road. There are buildings with busted out windows that are literally, 5 feet away from me when I run. But there is full-time security there and stuff. And so it's never been worth trying to explore them. But they're pretty rad.
Yeah, they are. They're pretty cool looking.
So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk our way through some people who went urban exploring in various, they went and, climbed around in old buildings, but had not the greatest time, we'll say. Kind of bad things maybe happened to them.
Okay.
And that's what we're going to talk about, all right?
Okay.
So what I want you to do is pretend like you were that person. Pretend like you're in that situation. And then you're going to tell me, like, we'll talk about it. But that's kind of the approach I want you to have, okay?
Okay.
Sound fair?
Yep.
Now, for those listening, all of the stories we're going to talk about today, I pulled from one YouTube video. So you can actually go and watch all of these in real life. The things we're going to talk about today, you can go and watch them. So the video is called, if you went to YouTube, 6 Most Disturbing Abandoned Building Encounters Caught on Camera, by a channel. The channel's name is Chilling Scares Channel. 6 Most Disturbing Abandoned Building Encounters Caught on Camera. So you can go and watch all the things we're going to talk about today, if you would so choose, because they're pretty awesome. So we're going to start in Wichita, Kansas.
Okay.
We love Kansas around here.
Yes, we do.
That's where I was born. Big Kansas guy. So this is an urban explorer by the name of Jared Coker. Young kid, maybe 20 or so. And he decides he's going to go explore this abandoned dog food treat factory in Wichita, Kansas.
Okay.
It's very similar to our factories here.
Big, your basic
brick. Yeah, looks like a factory. So at first, everything's fine. He does have to hop a fence, but he gets onto the property, seems pretty dead. He's roaming around, he's filming. And the nice thing I like about a lot of these urban explorers is most of them aren't interested at all in vandalizing.
They just want to explore.
They're just there to explore. A lot of these places are, old historic sites. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're good. Just like to wherever they're.
Yeah, so they're just interesting. Like, an old hospital or an old factory, and you just see remnants of the past. So they're cool. So Jared's one of these guys. He's not there causing any trouble. He's just exploring, looking around. So as he's going, he notices a red car pulls up to the gate factory. Nope, that's not English. The factory gate. The gate of the factory. That would have worked.
Uh-oh.
And you see someone get out. They unlock the gate. They open the gate. They come in. So it's obvious that this red car is coming in. So he decides, I should probably get out of here now. Now, it's not like a security car. It's just a person in a car. But you never know, who you're going to run into. If you're in an abandoned place, like, what kind of other people come to abandoned places?
Yeah.
If you're not a security guard, then why are you coming here,
Yeah.
So he decides it's probably time for me to get out of here. So the car drives around to the front, so he can't see it anymore. But he needs to, so he tries to work his way through the factory to kind of keep an eye out on where this person is, because he doesn't want to run into him, right? So he gets around and he sees the guy get out of his car, and he's walking, and he's probably 100 yards away. Like, he can see him, but he can't really
see him.
Yeah, crystal clear. And he's walking, but it looks like he's carrying a big gun.
Oh.
Now, if you were Jared and you're in this building by yourself and you see someone coming in, which you think may be a gun, what would you do? Besides poop your pants.
I'd get out of there really fast.
Yeah, me too. Now, sometimes that's really easy to do. Sometimes in these buildings, that's harder to do. Like there aren't multiple entrances to come in and out.
Right.
So he decides, oh, I don't know what this guy's up to. I don't know if that's a gun, but I'm getting out of here. So he starts to leave, and he's up on the second floor, and all of a sudden he hears what sounds like a gunshot. Just boom, echoes through the whole factory. Now he decides, okay, I really got to get out of here. So he works his way down. He gets outside. He's going across the field when the guy spots him.
The guy with the gun.
Mm-hmm. And the guy then yells at him.
Oh, no.
It says, hey, yes, stop. And so the guy comes up to him. And it is like a
gun.
It's a gun.
Big gun.
It's a big rifle or shotgun. I'm not sure what it was. Probably a shotgun. And he tells him to sit down. And I'm sure at this point Jared's freaking out because you're like, okay, here's a guy with a gun.
Yeah.
Telling me to sit down. And he says, okay, like, well, what do you want me to do? And he tosses him a pair of handcuffs. And he says, lock yourself up in these handcuffs.
I'm so confused as to where this is going.
Yeah, where do you think it's going to go?
I have no idea. I can't tell if he's going to, like, turn him into, like, the cops, if he's, like, an undercover agent. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool. So if you were this person, would you put the cuffs on?
I mean...
It's kind of a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, because, like, you don't. He's got a gun. You do. He's still got a gun.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, assuming this guy is some kind of vigilante security guard or something like that, then putting the cuffs on is probably the right choice.
But we don't
because he's got a gun. But let's say he's just a psycho. Now you have cuffs on and he still has a gun, like you said.
Yeah.
And now it's just easier for him to do whatever he wants to do to you.
Yeah.
But you don't have much choice because when he's got a gun and you don't, you probably do what you're told. So he puts the cuffs on and the guy walks him out. Now he does tell him, like, we're going to wait for the cops to get here. They're going to, arrest you for trespassing. He's actually kind of weird. So he's pretty like abrupt and mean sounding when he first comes up. But once he's got Jared in handcuffs, he's a little more laid back. He says, the cops are going to give you a ticket. It's nothing much these days. It's a lot better than me shooting you. He's kind of like joking around about it.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, well, it probably is better than being shot. And so he takes him to the red car and he tells him to get in the car. Now, again, in general, this is good advice for you. If anybody ever like kidnaps you and they tell you to get in the car, never get in the car.
Yeah.
No matter what. Like, nothing good is ever going to come from getting in the car. If they say they're going to do something to you in the street, make them do something to you in the street. Do not get in the car.
Yeah.
And so, but Jared gets in the car and the guy does call the cops. Eventually the cops come. But here's the funny thing. It takes an hour and a half for the cops to get there.
Are they like far from the factory?
It's probably just not priority number one on their list.
That's
I don't know.
Possible.
So it takes them like an hour and a half. And I'm sure this is the longest hour and a half of Jared's life. Because what do? You just sit there? Like, I hope this guy doesn't shoot me. Are you having like small talk? Are you chatting with the guy about like,
I'd be so
the Kansas City Chiefs or something? Yeah, it'd be weird. So the cops finally show up. While the cops are taking care of Jared, and again, they're not like arresting him or anything. They're just like giving him a ticket and taking his name and stuff like that, his driver's license. Everybody, the cops, this crazy guy, Jared, see two other kids go into the factory, like sneak into the factory.
Uh-oh.
And the guy tells the cops, like, if I go in there and I catch him, I'm going to shoot him.
What?
Yeah. Crazy people. And so, sure enough, later that night on the news, two kids get shot by this dude for breaking into the factory.
So, like, is there an explanation behind it? Or no, you just...
No, he just now here's the caveat to that story. He had non-lethal bullets in his gun. Jared didn't know this at the time. So when he shot him with essentially like pellets, so they weren't trying to kill him.
Oh.
But they still both had to go to the hospital. He actually ended up getting arrested. The crazy guy.
How did the cops not stop him?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, he warned.
He told him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, anyways, long story short, Jared got out of there pretty unfazed, but the other kids not as much.
No.
And the interesting thing to me too is like, okay, was this guy's factory? Like, why
Why
did
is
he
so
feel like?
protective
Yeah.
of it?
Does he have like some kind of cool drug hiding spot in there or something? Or he just seemed like a crazy person.
Yeah.
Like he had spray painted on the side of the building in huge letters, like protected with deadly force or something like that. And he told Jared when he had him cuffed, like, didn't you see the giant sign? And he's like, well, yeah, I thought it was like dumb kids graffitiing it. And the guy's like, no, that's me. I was like, oh, okay. It looks like dumb kids graffitiing it.
I don't know why anyone would be so protective over a old dog treat making factory.
Me either. Especially if it's not yours. Like, you're not a security guard. You're not.
Like, you don't own it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he owns it, but that would be weird.
That's kind of weird.
So, anyways, you can watch all that on that video. And I'll post a link in the description of the podcast with the video, the YouTube video, if people want to watch these things. Okay, next one. Philadelphia.
Okay.
Which is over in Pennsylvania. On the other side of the country. Give me a little geography lesson here.
I kind of needed it.
So, this one was interesting because it wasn't a group of people breaking into an old house. It was actually a group of investors. So it was a group of guys who had come together to buy the house, and then they wanted to fix it up and sell it. So they were going through the house, just taking it in.
Looking at it,
exactly. Things like that. Now, the house was in pretty rough shape. You don't remember living in Cleveland, but it looked like a lot of the houses in Cleveland. A lot of garbage inside of it. You can tell homeless people have been living there, like very kind of beat up house.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I was like 2, I think.
Yeah. Let's see. You were like 4 when we left, but either way.
Okay. Yeah.
And so it's a group of 4 or 5 guys. They're walking around on the first floor. They're about to go up onto the second floor. And in the video, you can see this guy starts going up the stairs, and one of the other guys stops him.
Uh-oh.
And why do you think he stopped him?
Did he like
What
see
possibly
something?
He did see something. What could he possibly have seen that would make you stop someone like instantaneously?
A person? Or
That's a good one. A person would definitely do it. This wasn't a person.
if I was in a creepy old house, though, I'd like look at anything and think it was a ghost or a zombie. So
Also a good option, but nothing paranormal in this story. He noticed what looked almost like a tripwire on the stairs.
Oh, like a booby trap?
Like a booby trap. And so he stops him, and all the guys are like, oh my goodness, you're right. Like, what is this? And so they're looking at it, and they're looking around, and they don't see anything. Now, the stairs went up, and then it was like there was a room up there, but not like an opening.
Like it just
you
led
couldn't
straight to a room?
Well, like a family room or something, maybe. But you couldn't see up there. You just saw the stairs going up, and then you couldn't see anymore. Not like our stairs that are open. And so they decide, well, let's try to trip it and see what happens. And so they all stand back, and one of them's got like a stick or a cane or something, and he reaches out and he hits it. And in Home Alone?
I was about to make a Home Alone reference.
What reference were you going to make?
I was going to say it looks like Kevin McAllister.
Exactly. Yeah.
A little early this year.
So when he's on the top of the stairs and he throws the paint cans down and they swing?
Them.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that, but instead of a paint can, it's a stick with about an 8-inch knife that comes flying down. And it stops. Like, it's a really nice booby trap. Like, whoever made this thing was like Rambo, who was legit.
Prepared.
Yeah. So it's about this 8-inch knife that legitimately would have killed this man. It would have hit him square in the face or the neck.
Ew.
Yeah. And so they were obviously very grateful that they
Had noticed it.
But then they're also like terrified, like, okay, what else is in this house of horrors? And what did we buy? So obviously there must have, I mean, the idea was there was someone homeless living upstairs that definitely did not want anyone else
Knowing
or giving them trouble, or maybe somebody had and they were trying to sabotage them and booby trap them, you know? But anyways, they ended up going through the rest of the house. They didn't find any other booby traps, but it's pretty terrifying to watch.
Yeah, that's scary. I kind of want to watch that.
Yeah. I'll show you later. Your mom wouldn't want to watch it, but I'll show you.
Yeah.
So, which one, what situation would you rather be in?
I think, well, it honestly would depend, because the first one would definitely scare me the most. But like the second one, it didn't seem that scary until if his friend hadn't noticed the tripwire, then it would have been 20 times scarier.
Exactly.
So it's kind of a
The first one's like a
question.
long, drawn out, like awkward scariness.
This one's like
But you're not going to die.
short and sudden burst of like,
That one?
I almost died.
Yeah. Terrifying.
Yeah.
So, next one. We're going out to the United Kingdom, over to England.
Okay.
Now, this is two guys that explore lots of abandoned places out there. But the cool thing about their channel is they have this little dog named Bear that they take with them on all of their explorations.
Like one of those little dogs that like think they're super big and
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, it's bigger than like a Chihuahua or
Okay.
like a... But yeah, it's a little dog. It's like a little 20-pound dog.
Okay.
But the cool thing that they do with Bear is they hook a GoPro to him as well. So as they're walking around filming and doing their thing,
Bears
he's also
too.
capturing all sorts of weird footage because he's running around all over the place on the ground.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Creative, actually.
Yeah, I know. And so these guys are exploring this house. It's a 2-story house. And they explore the whole first floor. Everything's good. And then they head up to the second floor. And these stairs are kind of weird. As you go up the stairs to the second floor, they split and go into 2 separate rooms. So, yeah, it's weird. Vienna's giving me that's a creepy.
That's creepy.
So they go up like normal stairs, like a full flight. And then they turn, and then maybe like 3 or 4 stairs in 2 different directions. Into a room on the right and a room on the left.
That's so weird. I'm like trying to picture it.
Yeah. It is a little different. So they go up, and they just by chance go into the room on the right when they get up to the top of the stairs. And they're in there just for a few seconds, like not long at all. And they're looking around and they're doing their thing. And all of a sudden they hear this boom, 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 boom.
This is reminding me of all the scary movies I like to watch.
Well, you just watched one.
I did.
That's your problem.
That one was really scary.
And so they stop. And obviously you're always going to be on a little
Edge.
height, right? Especially it's nighttime. You're in this abandoned house or whatever, right? And they're not like ghost hunting or anything. They're just, but even
exploring.
then, right? Who knows who you're going to run into, right? I like to watch a YouTube channel called Nuke's Top 5, and it's all just clips of like paranormal things that people catch on their phones and stuff. But the most terrifying ones are always the ones with real people. You know, it's like, oh, my door closed by itself. Yeah, that's creepy, but it's way more creepy if like a homeless person chases you out of a basement or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is scary.
And so these guys are like, dude, that was totally footsteps. Like someone just ran down the stairs. And so they're like, that's super creepy. So they go down the stairs and they're cautious, you know, but they're calling out like, hey, like, we're not cops. We're just here filming. Like, you don't need to be scared. We're not going to do anything to you. Please don't do anything to us. They never can find anybody. So then they decide, well, let's go look at Bear the dog's footage and see what Bear, if he found anything. And so then the YouTube video flips over to Bear. And he goes up the stairs with them. But then after a few seconds, goes back down the stairs and over to the other room and up into the other room. And you see, you know, Bear's zipping around. And then he goes to the bed. And underneath the bed,
Stop.
there's totally someone laying there.
Stop. That's so creepy.
It is creepy. And the person laying there did a really good job. Like, they didn't move at all when the dog came up to him.
Oh, that's so creepy.
Yeah. But obviously, the second the dog left, the dude got up and booked it, man. Or gal. It might be a girl. I don't know.
Oh.
Creepiness, huh?
Yeah.
Can you imagine, like, you're filming an abandoned house and all of a sudden there's someone under a bed? Like, that's like the most stereotypical, like, scary trope of all time, right? Like a monster under the bed.
There was a monster under the bed in the scary movie I watched.
Was there?
Yeah.
Oh, but this isn't a monster. It's just a person.
But, like, that's so scary.
But you're probably not going to find a monster under your bed. You
There's
could
no
find a
room under
person
my
under your
bed.
bed. Well, not yours. That's true.
But under any of my brothers. Well, actually, no.
No.
Lincoln.
Yeah. The little boys, their bunk bed
they're on a
has
bunk
no.
bed.
But it's on the ground, which is kind of cool because the top bunk's only like 4 feet off the ground. Then it's easy to make,
Yeah, it's really easy.
but it's a very hard to make the lower one for me because I'm tall, and it's on the
Yeah.
ground.
That's true.
But anywho, so that one was kind of a creepy one. Again, though, it's kind of cool watching the video.
That's not cool.
It's pretty cool,
That's scary.
but it's a little creepy. I mean, I'm glad it's them and not me,
Yeah.
for
I think
sure.
it was a dog that found them.
That's true. Like, but what happened? What would have happened if they got in the left room first?
I have no idea.
You know, like, were they that close to running into a real problem where this person's gonna freak out, and, you know, and attack them, or maybe I'll be fine. But you're gonna find them, obviously, because that's what you're doing. Is you're there looking around everywhere.
I mean, yeah.
But luckily, they went in the room on the right first, and the person booked out of there.
Yeah.
So good for them. So the next one in the video, if we're not going to talk about it much here, but if you're watching the video, you will see the next section is two guys that are in this old house that's literally about to fall down.
Uh-oh.
Like, they're in the living room, and there's a brick fireplace, and it's like bending.
The
Like,
bricks?
Yeah, because like the weight of the upper floor is getting ready to, it's trying to come down.
Oh,
So it's
my
like bending
gosh.
the fireplace out. And you can tell they're like, I don't know if we should be in here or not. And then they ultimately decide, let's just not go over there by the fireplace. Let's go explore over here. And within like 30 seconds, one of the guys steps right through the floor.
Oh, no.
Now, luckily, he didn't fall through the floor because it's good like 10 feet down to the basement. But one leg goes down, like straight through.
I'd leave right
Yeah,
then.
and they do. So that's the extent of that one. Not super creepy or terrifying. But I guess so, but in a different way.
Falling into the basement would be, like, way scary. I guess.
Well, yeah, if you actually fell through, that'd be terrible because you definitely would break your legs and
Yeah.
then you'd be down there. Who knows what you would land on? Like,
Yeah.
that would be a nightmare. And then, like, what happens if you just set off a chain reaction where
the whole rest of
the
the house,
whole house comes
down.
down? Yeah. So it could be bad. But I'd still rather step through the floor than run into
A person
a
under
person
the bed.
under the bed.
Yeah, me too.
As long as the house didn't fall down.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay, now we're going out to Gary, Indiana. Now, Gary, Indiana is historically one of the most crime-ridden cities in America. It's in Indiana, but technically it's like a suburb of Southside Chicago.
Okay.
And there's a lot. So you don't remember living in Cleveland at all. Cleveland was crazy because there were abandoned buildings everywhere.
I feel like I remember
Like
you telling me
huge
this.
factories, huge Masonic lodges, huge churches, like all sorts of really cool old buildings. Just like the property's not worth enough money for someone
To buy and
to
sell.
bulldoze it to build something else because they're in such terrible neighborhoods that the crime's so bad in some of these areas. One of my
Just leave 'em there.
they just leave it, yeah. One of my favorite urban explorers. I can't think what the channel's name is right now. I feel terrible. I don't know it because it just auto populates on my YouTube. But he's from Cleveland, and all of his videos are in Cleveland. Like, there's that many. He's a whole channel just exploring stuff in Cleveland.
Whoa.
And it's really neat. Anywho, Gary, Indiana is very similar to Cleveland or Detroit. So lots of abandoned buildings. So these two teenage boys are exploring an abandoned high school.
Oh, no.
And so they break in, they're running, and again, they're not doing anything. They're just looking around. And they get to the auditorium. And the auditorium is in pretty good shape. And when I say pretty good shape, I mean it's abandoned and it's dirty and all that kind of stuff. But the seats are all still in there.
Okay.
There's definitely been vandalism. Like you can tell people have thrown things off the upper level, like big equipment, and crushed seats on the lower level and stuff. And so they go up and they're exploring or looking at some of this vandalism. Someone had thrown like a big lighting system off the balcony.
Okay.
And so they're down at the bottom looking at it. And they're turning and walking out the end of the aisle. And he pans the camera up. And at the top of the auditorium is a guy standing there.
No.
And you can just freaks the crap out of the kid. And he tries to play it cool, like, oh, sorry, like we didn't see you there. Now you don't really get a good glimpse of the guy, just because he's scanning, sees him, freaks him out, so he moves the camera, right?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
he's like, startled. And so you hear him just saying, like, oh, sorry, dude, scared us. But the guy doesn't say anything, and he's holding a big old metal pole.
Uh-oh.
And he is not super excited that they are in his school.
Who thinks scarier than a high school is an abandoned high school? Take it from a high schooler.
That's true. Good point, Vienna. The scary thing, too, about something like this, most of these abandoned like high schools, like abandoned factory, there's probably lots of entrances and exits.
Yeah.
Abandoned high school, there's probably only 2 or 3 because everything's boarded up. There isn't like you can just run out any door.
I mean, thinking about my high school that's not abandoned, there's only 5 entrances and exits that I can think of already.
Yeah.
And it's not abandoned.
So if someone was chasing you with the pipe, you would have limited options to begin with.
Yeah.
So the boys are like, whoa, sorry, dude. Like, we'll get out of here. And you don't see him chase them, but you definitely know he is because they get scared and they take off running. And then they're just running through trying to find a way out. And luckily, there's an exit not too far from where they are. Then they get out. The dude chases them all the way outside, but once they're out and gone, he stops.
Oh, gosh.
And that would be a pretty exhilarating afternoon.
Yeah, I'd be scared for, like, life.
Yeah, I definitely would be very cautious about going back into abandoned buildings.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Like some of these guys that do this, like the guy from Cleveland, I've watched tons of his videos, and he's never run into anybody in any of them until you do. And then it's just, it's once or twice randomly, and he's got some weird stuff that
happens.
Yeah. We're just like, I don't know what's going on. Like doors slamming and stuff. But he's totally not like a ghost hunter or a paranormal guy.
He just is exploring.
He's just exploring.
Places.
And all of his videos are just him exploring. Like they're not at all ghosty. But man, he comes across every once in a while this weird stuff where you're like, I don't know what's happening to you right now, but you're crazy that you're still in there.
Yeah. No, not me.
Yeah, he's got a couple where it's just like, man, that's just bizarre. Like whatever is going on. But he has run into also homeless people before. One time, he's in, I don't remember where he is. Maybe he's in an abandoned school as well. And I think it was, he goes into a locker room. It's dark, obviously, and stuff. And freaking terrifying. There's this person standing right there. But it's like this weird, distorted person. And he just freaks out, runs out. But then again, he's like crazy. No one's chasing him. So he turns around and like goes back in. And it's totally a mannequin that someone has set up to scare off other people.
That's horrifying.
But it's a pretty terrifying looking mannequin.
Oh my
Because a lot
goodness.
of homeless people live in these places, right? And so they're like trying to protect their space. And he has come into a couple, like, I think it was him. Maybe it was a different Urban Explorer. A video where he's in a school again, I'm sure. and there's a door that's locked. And he's like, well, that's weird, from the hallway. But eventually, as he's exploring, he comes around a back way into that same classroom. And
it's unlocked?
Well, it's a different door, but it's open.
Oh.
And you can totally tell it's like someone's living in there. It's like someone's house. But this is a pitch black room, and there's like a curtain across the back. So he goes and he peeks behind the curtain, and sure enough, there's someone there, and it terrifies him. He takes off running,
Yeah, I would too.
And the nice thing about him, I mean, not nice, but he's a big dude. I don't know if that helps. Like, he's a big dude.
He can fight.
Yeah, I'm sure he's, But a lot of people, who knows? They have weapons, they have guns, if they're on drugs, like.
Right, yeah. That's so scary.
But I really enjoy watching them. So I appreciate it.
Oh.
No, the mannequin was creepy. I'll just show it to you.
Will you?
Yeah, it's good.
Actually, I kind of want to see it.
But it is creepy. But yeah, so sometimes you do run into stuff. My first guy that I ever got into that was kind of an urban explorer, his name's Dan Bell. And he's so funny because he's like this big, overweight guy that smokes a ton from Baltimore. And it just seems like not your like most urban explorers that I watch, they're young, they're pretty agile because you have to be hopping fences and stuff, and he's just this big dude, and he likes to go into really, really, really bad parts of Baltimore and just like in the middle of the night by himself. It's like, I'm gonna go into this crack house that's been abandoned, and I'm gonna see what's in there.
You can never, not alone.
So one time though, he goes in, he's upstairs, he comes across some drugs, and it's like, and then all of a sudden there's people downstairs, and it's obvious that he's in the middle of someone left this for someone else. Now this person's coming to get it, and he's terrified.
Yeah, I mean,
because he can't leave because there's only one way out. And like I said, he's a big dude. Like, he ain't outrunning anybody. So he locks him. Well, he doesn't lock him, but he hides like in this closet or something in this house, terrified. And he can hear everyone in there until everyone else is gone, and then he gets out of there.
Holy crap, that would be horrifying.
That would be horrifying. That would be way more terrifying than
anything.
Even walking into like a homeless person or something,
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's some weird ones. I've seen a video. I think it was out of Detroit. It was an old like car manufacturing plant where a guy's out there, and inside this manufacturing plant, there's just like, what was it? It's like baseball cards or something, like hundreds of thousands of baseball cards like piled up. Like someone dumped them. Like some company was like, what are we going to do with these? Let's throw them in the abandoned factory.
It's so random.
It's so random. So you come across all sorts of stuff like that. There's another one. Sorry, these are just coming off the top of my head. I'm talking.
No, you're good.
The guys went into a cave, but it had they knew at the end of the cave was an underground lake.
That kind of be cool to find.
Yeah. So they were going in, but they were bringing inflatable rafts with them so that they could, once they got to the lake, go explore the lake. So they get there, they get in the rafts, and all of a sudden they're at the far side of this lake. They find the most random thing of all time, a giant mountain of cars. Like full-size cars piled up. Yep.
Whoa.
In the water, and then sticking up out of the water. And lo and behold, there's a hole, like a cliff, up on the side where somebody
has been dropping
cars to get rid of them. Just like, I don't know where this hole goes, but we're just going to drop these cars off in here.
Okay.
There's a whole mountain of cars down there.
Wow.
Yeah. See, they're interesting videos.
Yeah.
Next one from this video. I think this is the last one from this video. Two guys. They're going to look for a specific spot to do like a YouTube video. And I think the spot was something like a, I don't know what it was, like a witch sacrifice spot, or I don't know, something stupid like that.
Okay.
They were going to go look for this altar in the woods, or I don't know.
Okay.
Something very Blair Witchy. And obviously they've never been there before. And so they think that they're on public land. But as they go out this road and they're walking, they keep coming across these no trespassing signs. And it's the middle of the night. I don't know what time it is, but it's dark, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of them of the two is like, okay, I thought you said this was public land. He's like, yeah, I'm so confused because like we must right be on the border. We're like, that's private property, but like over here's public because I was told this is, where we're going is public, blah, blah, blah. So as they go, they come across, all of a sudden there's a car coming down the road ahead of them. And they've got flashlights and stuff, right? So the car stops. So they flip off their flashlights and like jump in the bushes.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, because you never know what people are up to. So the car's running, just sitting there, kind of up on a little hill above them. So that like the car has a little bit of high ground on them. And then the engine turns off and someone steps out of the car.
No.
And so these guys are like, again, you got a decision to make. You're like, okay, do we just stay here until this person goes away? Or we can't run without turning on our flashlights. We can't leave without turning on our flashlights. We don't know who this person is. Like, do we give up our position? Well, then the guy starts yelling at them in a super like Southern stereotypical accent. Like, y'all get off my property. I know you're out there. I can see your headlights. And he's got a gun.
What is it with all these guns?
Yeah, you gotta watch out for them guns, man. And so, again, these guys are stuck in this predicament. Do you say, ho, just kidding, sorry, we're right here, we'll leave, to the guy with a gun? Because maybe he doesn't care and he shoots you? Or do you try to wait him out, but maybe that angers him, maybe he starts walking down closer to you? Like, you gotta do something. What do? What would you do?
I have no idea.
You just sit there. Well, these guys decide they're going to run.
Okay.
So they take off running. What do you think the guy with the gun does?
Chase after him?
No, he starts shooting.
Oh.
And
Okay.
so these guys are running. Now, here's the interesting thing. If I was... like, these guys are obviously going out there to make a YouTube video because they're trying to get to some weird sacrificial spot or something. At this point, I would not care about making my YouTube video. Now, maybe he's not thinking about that. Maybe his camera's just rolling.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a GoPro. I don't know. But he takes off running. You hear gunshots going. Now, I don't know if the guy's actually shooting at them.
Or
If he's just shooting up into... yeah. But the other guy, not filming, falls. And so, dude with the camera freaking out, thinking his buddy just got shot, And in the adrenaline, he's like, are you hit? And the other guy's like, I have no idea. Like, I think I'm fine. I don't know. Because if you're running and you got shot, there's a good chance that you wouldn't feel it until you settled down a little bit, right? Luckily, long story short, he just tripped. And so they get up, they get out of there, and they make it out. But that would be a terrifying night as well.
Yeah.
And you would be really mad at whoever gave you the bad information about...
I'd be really mad.
About your sacrificial witch spot being on public land.
Yeah.
Because it's obviously not.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. So those videos are always terrifying. It makes me think of some other videos that I watch sometimes that are scary camping encounters.
Ooh.
And those are always terrifying because they're always with real people.
Yeah, that's scary.
I watched one once that was not far outside of Cleveland, and the guy was solo camping. And a lot of these guys are YouTubers. Like, they'll go out and either have videos that show them camping by themselves to show really pretty places or to show off gear, like, hey, okay, I have this new this or that,
Right.
So this guy's out camping and it looks cold. It's not snowy, but there's no leaves on the trees.
So it's like,
I mean,
cold at night.
it's cold.
Yeah.
It's fall, spring, winter, who knows? So there's no one else out there. He sets up his tent and the video is terrifying because he doesn't have, like, it's just him in the middle of the night talking, like breathing super heavily, like, there's someone outside my tent. Like, I can hear him walking around, but he doesn't have a flashlight on or anything, right? And then these people start literally, like, touching his tent, like smacking his tent.
Gosh.
And then he starts, I mean, I don't know what I would do in that situation. Now, granted, generally speaking, if I'm going backpacking or something, and you probably don't know this, I'm always armed.
Did not know that, actually.
I would not be out in the woods
Alone?
without a gun.
I didn't know that.
But this guy doesn't have a gun. And so he, he starts yelling like, I have a knife or blah, blah, blah. But you don't know who's out there. You don't know how many people are out there. You don't know what their intentions are. You can't see anything. You're in the middle of nowhere. There's no street lights or anything. And so they leave. He gets out of his tent, but he can still hear them. But they haven't left. They've just moved off into the woods.
No, that's
so he can still hear whoever it is out there. So he's yelling at him, and he ends up just leaving.
Yeah, I would too.
But he's literally like running back to his car, but he could, hear them chasing him. And he gets to his car, luckily, and then he goes back the next day in the daylight. And it's weird because his camp's totally still there. Like, they didn't steal anything.
There's no signs?
No. I mean, I'm sure there's footprints or something around if it was muddy, but and maybe some of these videos are fake, just for YouTube stuff. But it's weird because a lot of them, again, are from channels that aren't at all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Like, if you look at like a paranormal YouTube video, like every single one of them is like, I was attacked by a poltergeist, or something like that.
It's like their friends slamming doors.
Exactly. But these guys are oftentimes like, okay, I've made 1,000 videos. This is the only one that I've ever had anything like this happen to me.
Right.
Kind of thing. So they're a little more trustworthy. Yeah, just some creepy stuff, man.
There was this one time I was at girls' camp with a bunch of girls from my church this summer. And on the last night of camp, everyone's goal is to pull an all-nighter.
Sounds terrible.
So it was like 3 a.m. We had a watch. So like we knew what time it was. And we were telling scary stories because, that's what
you're camping. That's what you're supposed to do.
But apparently we were way louder than we thought we were because a lot of people tell us to be quiet who were sharing the tent with us because we were with every single girl at the camp. So it was 20 girls, I'd say. But then around 3:30, so of course the witching hour, there's a bunch of flashlights all over our tent, around the tent, and they're walking around. I kind of low-key thought it was an alien. But the next morning we were talking because my friend and I, we managed to make it till the sunrise and then fell asleep in the hammocks because outside, with no blankets because we were so tired.
Yeah, I hate staying up all night.
But the next morning we were can you guys believe that there was aliens last night? And then one of the leaders was no, that was just me trying to scare you guys to go to bed. But it was so scary.
Yeah. Being out in the woods, it's different, man. It's just different noises, different environment. Even just going down. So we have an acre and a half, and we have a fire pit at the far end of the yard. And I'll go down at night just by myself and have fires because we just have lots of wood to burn right now. And even just there, I'm not far from the house, but it's just totally different. I mean, it's so dark.
Way dark, all the lights. We have a little path of lanterns, but it doesn't really do much when you're it's 11 o'clock at night and you're sitting by yourself around a fire.
Yeah.
And
it's just dark woods right in front of you.
Yeah.
And there's houses around and stuff too, but and it's not scary. I'm just saying it's different.
It's different.
Even there's owls and raccoons and
we have cats who are so small they rustle the bushes, but you don't see them. So you're is that a bird or a squirrel or my cat?
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, being out there when I was a teenager and stuff, we'd camp all the time. I go camping tons and. I would only use a tent if the weather required me to use a tent. I would just sleep outside.
Under the stars?
Mm-hmm.
Like a sleeping bag?
Mm-hmm.
That's so
just
cool.
Put a pad down in a sleeping bag or if I wasn't backpacking or hiking in, if I drove in and I'd bring a cot or something maybe,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just totally, it's majestic and it's amazing and I love it. I have a special spot in my heart for the nighttime. I don't know why. I love going for long walks by myself at night just because it's quiet and it's just
peaceful.
The world's just different. We have a big field by our house, so I walk around there at night. It's just funny because your mom's I'm not going in there ever at night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I love it in there.
Yeah.
But it is dark, and
it's dark.
I can see what she means. So, but yeah. Anyways, lots of rabbit holes in YouTube to watch crazy things from people exploring and camping or doing anything that just weird stuff happens out there.
Yeah.
And I'm all in on watching it. Not experiencing it per se, but watching it.
Yeah. When you were introducing the theme at the very beginning, I was picturing like I spent 24 hours in the world's most haunted building kind of type story. So
yeah, no, not Mr. Beast
nice.
style. But that would be...
That's what my brothers watch. They like to watch those videos.
They do like to watch those. That is for sure. No, these videos are they're fascinating for sure. Just yeah, I mean, I have a million more that I could tell you about just from the videos I've watched. Just weird things happening to people, coming across different things, you know, as they're in these buildings and in various situations. So
yeah.
But there was another one. A guy was driving his truck. It was late, decided to pull over and just sleep, which I've done many times in my life. You know,
Yeah.
Your mom and I used to drive up from here in Washington up to Calgary, up in Canada. We'd leave at like 7 at night, 8 at night, something like 9, and drive all night till the morning and get up there. Yeah, sleep till like noon and then get up and do whatever. But there would be times where we just, you know, it's like 4 a.m, you just can't make it. So we would just pull off on some random forest road in British Columbia and
go to bed.
Go to sleep. Yeah. And, you know, nothing ever happened. But it's pitch black out there, you know, like you're remote. And so this is kind of what this guy was doing. But he slept in the bed of his truck, but he had a not a camper, but like a cover on it.
Okay.
Like I don't know.
I think I can picture what you're talking about.
Just a cover on not like my truck cover that's flat, but like one that's the same size as the cab of the truck. So it almost makes your truck look like a Suburban.
Okay.
But
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But this thing has no side windows, right? So he's in there. Now, luckily, he locked it. But in the middle of the night, he can hear someone outside walking around his truck. And again, he's in the middle of nowhere. And he's filming himself, but like super whispering. You know, like, oh my goodness, it's 3:30 in the morning or whatever, you know, and there's someone walking around my truck. And the person walking around, he can hear him trying to open the door handles.
Stop.
Now, maybe the guy thinks the truck's abandoned and no one's in the back sleeping and he's trying to rob, you know, he's just see if there's a wallet in it or something. Who knows? But in the morning, when he gets up, you can see, because his truck was dirty, you can see like, it's creepy, fingers, like the guy like ran his hands along the truck all the way around. And just like weird, man. Like people are weird.
Yeah, that's scary. I could easily like handle I wouldn't say easily, but I can handle like a ghost movie, a ghost horror movie, or a zombie horror movie, but like anything that has to do with creepy people is just too much because like it's just more real.
Yeah.
It's like
1,000,000%.
a ghost can't like stalk you.
No.
But, like
I love ghost movies and they're scary and they're fun. But that's why they're fun, because you're like, oh, this isn't real. Like this is just for fun.
Yeah.
Where, you know, the crazy person is real. So.
Yeah.
And not crazy like with mental illness. Crazy like I'm going to shake your tent in the middle of the night.
Yeah. That would
those kind of people. Yeah. So, all righty. Well, Vienna, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for letting me.
Yeah. Any final thoughts? Who knows if you'll ever get airtime again? You did great.
Yeah, I was a little nervous at the beginning. I don't know why, but I was a little nervous.
You did really, really good. So, thanks for joining me. Everybody, we will be back next week. I assume Ethney will be back. If not, then something drastically different has happened in life. So, until then, take care, be nice to people, and we will be back with another story next week. Bye.